Welcome back to Northwest City Politics and in the Know with Juanita. We're glad that you're joining us for our show again this week. We're glad there's people like you out there that are interested in the issues that are happening in the cities in Northwest Community Television's viewing area. Because it is important for good government that citizens of a city interact with the city council and the city staff. It makes a much stronger city. So we're glad that you're interested and that you're joining us. If you haven't joined us before, each week we'll have somebody from one of the 9 cities talking about the issues in that particular city to keep you a little bit up to date. But tonight we're going to be looking into some of the issues that Golden Valley is dealing with currently. And we're very happy to represent a group of people from Golden Valley. We've got Mayor Shep Harris. We've got Jack Knudson, who's on the Teen Committee, and Teresa Martin, who's on the Human Rights Commission.
Right.
So we're glad to have all of you with us tonight.
We're happy to be here. Yeah. Thank you.
So I'll let Shep start and tell them a little bit about yourself and Golden Valley. And
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me, and I definitely appreciate our chair of our Human Rights Commission, Teresa Martin, being here, and our Teen Committee chair as well, Jack Knudson. I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your schedules to be here tonight. So I'm Shep Harris, I'm mayor of Golden Valley, and I've been in office for 3 years now.
right.
And I've been enjoying just about every moment of it. We've got a fantastic community. I always talk about, we've got a great location in the West Metro area. We've got, low crime rates. We've got well-educated population, so I'm thrilled and honored to be doing it. I've been living in the community with my wife and my 3 kids since 2004. So we've already surpassed our 10-year anniversary, and I guess we'll probably be here for at least another 10, if not another 20. Who knows? So, but that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it.
Okay. Well, and then we're always asking those of you out there to get more involved in your city. So we've got 2 people tonight that are examples, and then I'm going to ask them both to, I'll start with Jack Knudson and have him tell a little bit about his time in Golden Valley, but also why you decided to get involved in the Teen Committee.
Yeah, I'm a junior at Cooper High School. My name's Jack Knudson. I got involved in the Teen Committee mostly because of people I knew. Andrew Ervig, the original creator from Armstrong, he told me a lot about it, and it just sounded like such an interesting thing to join. I've always loved small local government, and I've lived in Golden Valley all my life, and it seemed like a perfect idea to join those.
Oh, cool. And Teresa Martin, you fairly recently got involved in the Human Rights Commission. So your time in Golden Valley, and then kind of what stimulated you to take that step and get more involved?
Well, when my husband and I decided to move out of Uptown and we were looking to buy a house, we researched communities, and everything about Golden Valley fit what we believed in. It was diverse, it was welcoming, it was 5 minutes to downtown where we were both working at the time.
Right.
And it was an established these established neighborhoods. The housing stock was what we wanted, and we also had some friends who lived in Golden Valley and they loved it. So it really was the only place we looked to buy a home. And like I said, 17 years later, as I've gotten a little older and been a little more involved in politics, I became interested in becoming more involved in the city government. And when the Children's Mental Health Facility was not built in Golden Valley, that's an important issue in my book. I started to go to the meetings, and I really enjoyed the group. I thought they were doing great things, and so then I applied to be on the commission. And within a couple meetings, I was the chair because the chair stepped down. So I've stumbled a little bit along the way because I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing, but everyone's been very welcoming and helpful, and it's a really good group of people.
And I just, again, want to thank you guys for being so involved. I mean, as Juanita said, this is a volunteer opportunity. It's not, you guys don't do this full time.
Yeah, and it's important.
That's important to us too, and that's why we're involved. So.
Okay, now we'll move along to a number of issues that are happening in Golden Valley. And the one that's getting the most press right now is on the Golden Valley subdivision moratorium. Make sure I say that right.
That's right.
But what are some of the concerns that citizens are having about subdividing a single-family residential lot into more than one unit, right?
Right. Right.
What are some of the concerns people are expressing?
Well, if I can, I've got a visual here.
Oh, yes,
I've got a
go.
map here, and we talked about it beforehand, so I'm going to have Jack help me out here for a second. Because what I wanted to do was point to a couple of key spots. Let's see if you got it there, and if the cameras can zoom in. Basically, we have a couple of key neighborhoods where we have noticed over the past year or two as the economy, as the economy has heated up, we have had developers come in.
Right.
We've also had homeowners who want to subdivide their properties and sell half of their property to developers. Or in some cases, the properties are so large, you can subdivide them into thirds.
Right.
And so where we've seen some of this is kind of just west of the Sweeney Lake area.
Okay.
We've also seen it in the North Tyrrell Hills area, which is around here. It's kind of north of 394 around Glenwood Avenue, or Glenwood Road. There is Glenwood Avenue. Glenwood Avenue in this area. And then what's also called the Rose Trolley area over here, where these are just larger property homes.
Right.
And especially as you get closer to Worth Park, which is this big green area on the map, it's heavily wooded.
Right.
And so thank you, Jack. We can put that down for the moment. And so what's happened is that we've had residents who have been concerned about an abundance. I think it's really just, it feels like it's gone from 0 to 60. Suddenly we have lots of development, which can be good if you do it in a smart way. And so there are neighbors who have expressed their concerns, I think, in a very civil manner, expressing concerns about the loss of the green space, about the changing of the characteristics of the neighborhood. And so for those reasons, it's gotten a lot of press, and that is why the City Council has chosen to do a 6-month moratorium so that we can study these issues and also get additional outreach and input from the community on these issues.
Right. And the moratorium got voted into place?
It was back in, if I'm doing this from memory, because I read a bunch of these materials last night after our City Council meeting.
Right.
I believe we did it back in September.
Okay. So 6 months from September. And this is your research time, and make sure you do it right.
Right. In fact, residents, I don't know if Jack or Teresa have gotten it, but we sent out postcards to many of the residents in the community whose properties are large enough to potentially be subdivided. So that way they can come to a hearing that we're going to have, basically kind of like an open house, open forum to get input from residents. And we're going to be doing that this month in December. And then we're going to also be doing a discussion between the City Council and our Planning Commission about these issues. And that's working with a consultant. And so from there, the consultant is really going to absorb and digest, if you will, a lot of this information and bring back recommendations to the City Council, probably to the Planning Commission as well, toward the end of this moratorium. So we're looking at possibly February that we'd be wrapping these things up.
Okay, so you're looking at getting information from a number of different sources.
Absolutely. And not only residents, not only our Planning Commission, but we're also having conversations with developers as well to let us know, look, here's where the market is going.
Right.
And if you want to redevelop some of the areas around the city, here's what the market is going to be looking for, and here's what the market is definitely not looking for.
Okay.
So we're just trying to do it in a very deliberate, methodical way.
And kind of take some control over the process.
It is. I mean, there's been, and our council, I wouldn't say is unified on this. It depends on who you talk to. In some cases, there's been times where I've been frustrated by the current city code and how very restrictive it can be when it comes to subdivisions. We've had other council members, Andy Snope, for example, who feels that in some cases we have developers who are using what's called a planned unit development process, which is more flexible of a planning tool. That they're using, they're kind of bypassing the subdivision process to create subdivisions, but they're using the planned unit development process. So that's why we're basically taking all these different issues, and that's what we're going to look at during this moratorium.
Now, one of the things you're going to do is you're going to have a listening session. I've got down for December 11th.
That's correct.
That's up and coming very shortly. And it's going to be, I've got 6:30 to 8:30 in the City Council chambers.
That's right.
And by listening session, maybe you can describe it a little.
Well, that's where the consultant, along with the City Council and with the staff, we are going to be asking for input from residents, from various community members to come and tell us what are their concerns. We want to hear from everybody around the community, not just those particular residents from those particular neighborhoods that have sounded off. we want to hear from everybody, because this is, when we change the city code, it's not just going to be affecting those
Right.
two areas, it's
Right.
going to affect the entire community.
So we want to encourage everybody that's at all concerned in any way, shape, or form
That is
to
correct.
get there to the listening session.
That's right.
And then the consultant is going to be gathering information separately, or he's been going to gather it from the input from the citizens, or what is the role of the consultant besides giving you some recommendations at the end?
Right. Well, it's a combination of factors. They've been doing a lot of research into the history of our city code. They've been looking at the codes of other cities in terms of what, especially where the market is
Sure.
going right now. And then they're also going to take the comments from residents. They're going to take comments from the planning commission members, the city council members, and it's almost like creating a nice, Minnesota hot dish, I guess, in a sense.
Right, it
You're
sounds
kind of
like it,
you're
right.
kind of taking a lot of ingredients and putting them all into the same recipe here, and we're going to see what we can come up with.
Okay. And then I'll add, because it's all got to fit legally in statutes, what is a legal subdivision, and kind of there's pros and cons to this process.
Right. Well, basically, the subdivision is when someone has, at least in Golden Valley, because
Okay.
it can vary from
Oh,
city
right. Different
from
cities,
city to
different
city.
things.
You have a property that, and that could be for residents, or it could be for businesses as well.
Either way.
Right. That is 20,000 square feet or larger. And what you do at that point is then you have to, at a minimum, subdivide it by 10,000 square feet. So we just looked at a planned unit development the other day, or actually a couple of weeks ago, where we actually looked at it was actually last night at a city council meeting. It was a planned unit development where they were subdividing a piece of property into 3 different parcels, but they had much more than 10,000 square feet. So we still do have, we have some small parcels that can't be subdivided because they're less
Right.
than 20,000
Right.
square feet. And then we have some that are 3 times as much as that. So you have to have that minimum of 20,000 square feet, subdivided into 10,000 square feet at a minimum.
Okay.
And there's also additional requirements in terms of making sure that there's adequate stormwater management.
Right.
It also depends on, we got to make sure that there aren't any wetlands on the properties as well. So there's a pretty thorough process
Okay.
that you have to go through. And when you develop a house on this subdivided property, there are requirements about, they're called side yard setbacks.
Oh, right, right.
There's front yard setbacks, there's side yard setbacks. So what we want to make sure is someone doesn't, I don't build a house next to Jack,
Oh, right.
and I build this towering
Yeah.
castle
Right,
overlooking
right.
his house,
Yeah.
which will block the sun out for
Yeah.
300 days of the year.
Right.
So we do have some requirements, and that's part of the subdivision requirements that we currently
Okay.
have.
So come approximately February, then the council is going to be working towards a new set of rules.
That's correct.
Okay. So anybody that's interested, keep up, probably on the
Please do.
website is a good place.
Website definitely is a good place to do that. And like I said already, they've gotten postcards in the mail, and we also have Facebook out there. And
Okay.
then there's your show.
Right, right.
Right.
So be sure to get your comments
That's right.
in if you're
That's right.
concerned.
Right.
And we're putting up your email and your phone number
Thank
so
you.
people, and plus the city's website
Good.
and phone number. So
And I would say if people have questions about this, don't hesitate to call our city staff.
Right.
They can explain what the code looks like, what are the conditions that basically it's a litmus test.
Right.
There's a set of, I think it's 7 or 8 conditions that we have to follow. And if the developer meets all those conditions, we normally, unless there's an exception to the rule,
Right, right.
we have no choice but to
Right.
approve them.
Because that's the way the law goes.
Exactly.
Right. There's commercial and residential redevelopment going on right now in the city of Golden Valley. And what are the areas that are possibilities for residential development besides the dividing up the lots like we talked
Right,
about?
right. Now we have some really good opportunities. I was just talking with a resident on the phone earlier today about this. We have a lot of diversity in Golden Valley when it comes to housing. We have those larger properties that we
Right.
talked about. We have some smaller properties. Where we're struggling and where we're trying to add to is redevelopment of areas for housing, really for some people who are looking to downsize.
Okay.
We're also looking, and at the other end of you can almost say they're like bookends. You have
Yeah.
senior citizens who are looking to downsize.
Right.
You're also looking for that new family that's starting out,
right.
that wants to be 5 minutes away from downtown.
Right.
Um,
Just like you.
right. but you know, they can't afford or don't want to be in a large home.
Right.
So they're looking for something smaller, like a townhome, or they're looking for that apartment. You know, that high quality apartment.
Right.
So I'm going to refer to the map here again.
Okay, we'll put Jack to work
And
again.
I'm going to use your pen here
Yep.
for the pointer.
Right.
I like this impromptu visuals here. So some of the key areas that we're looking at right now, the one that I am very excited about, I'm excited about all of them, frankly, because I think it's time. We're kind of
Right.
catching up.
Right.
People say, you know, why aren't we like St. Louis Park? And well, we don't want to be exactly like St.
Yeah.
Louis Park. We have our own unique characteristics, but we do need more housing. And so we're looking at, in fact, just last night at our city council meeting, along Winnetka Avenue, right over here,
Okay.
and Medicine Lake Road. People know that area because there's a Dairy Queen over there,
Right.
there's a Walgreens over there, the VFW is
Right.
also over there on Winnetka Avenue. There's also a what's called Rasa Sayang, which is a Malaysian Chinese
Right,
cuisine
right.
restaurant, and a light industrial site called Sifco, which is over there. That whole area, basically this rectangle here, with the exception of the immediate corner, we are going to rezone. We are going to change.
Okay.
We've passed it last night. Changed to our comprehensive plan. We have to wait and get approval
Right.
from the Met Council
Right.
before we change the zoning. Basically, that is going to go from either commercial or light industrial to high residential, high density residential.
Okay.
What we're looking at, from what I've been told, I haven't
Right.
seen anything in paper yet.
Right.
But from the developer, what we're hearing is that along where the VFW building is, you're going to see 300, possibly 300 high-end apartment units over there. And it'll probably go down the backside here along
Right.
Rhode Island Avenue, because
Right.
there's also a car wash back there.
Right.
And so the developer is already tentatively, he has tentative agreements with
Yeah.
these various businesses
Right.
to buy them out. And then over here, kind of where the Sifco is and the Chinese restaurant
Right.
is, you'd see more like townhomes over
Okay.
there. So again, this is a perfect area. It's kind of a gateway area into
Right,
Golden
right.
Valley. The area is a little on the tired side, and so here's an opportunity to renovate and update. We are sad to see the VFW go, but they've actually voted because unfortunately they're going to stay in business as an
Right.
organization, but their membership has dwindled, and it's been very challenging to maintain the building. So, so that's why that is happening. We're still hopeful, working with the developer in that corner where the Midland Auto Service is
Right.
and where the Dairy Queen is. We're hopeful. I'll give you the pen back.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm
Well,
going
you
to
keep
still
it,
need it.
keep
We're hopeful that there's been some talk about possibly shifting the Dairy Queen over to the corner, and Midland Auto Service would be relocated somewhere
Right.
else.
Don't want to lose our Dairy Queen.
We don't want to. We're not going to. No, Dairy Queen is not going away. Rest assured. Rest assured. I go there all the time. I see all the Golden Valley girls softball pictures. Although my daughter hasn't been on the DQ team yet, she might be one of these years.
Right.
They're not going away. So we'll see. So that's one area that's
Okay.
up and coming. The other areas along here, Golden Valley Road. People know this area is where the National Camera Exchange is.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Right over off of Highway 55, north of Highway 55,
Right.
and just east of 169. This is where the old Golden Valley Bowl is, and the Chip and Putt,
Right.
and that area. The KFC is over there, and the Red Lobster.
Yeah.
And what we're looking at is, I haven't seen numbers yet on the exact number of units, but we're looking at a market rate apartment complex over there as well. So that area we're working on for more housing. Laurel Avenue right here and Pennsylvania Avenue, which is right here. That area we've already given preliminary approval for 27 townhomes. And what we've heard is that, again, the marketplace forces are constantly changing. The developer may actually come back for a final approval for 24 units for that area. So, and then of course I would be remiss if I didn't mention, I'm looking for, here we go, right over here, just north of 394 off of Zinnia Avenue, we have the Arcata, which is roughly 150 units, high-end luxury apartments, near completion, probably about 2-3 months away from completion. And just kitty corner, if I lost my place there, just right across, so Allianz is right here. So just north of there is vacant land that is going to be built by the Schlossberg developers out of Omaha. and we're talking about 350 units. That's a very large area, and we've given them final approval. And what we've been told, they've taken permits out to start building the building the parking deck, which will be kind of the sound barrier buffer, if you will, to the railroad, which isn't used that much, but when it is, the idea is that they'll start with the parking deck. Once that's built, that will be their staging area for construction. To then build out the rest. So we're already talking, I mean, 350 units here, 300 units up there, 140 units over here.
Ooh,
we're
big
expecting
changes.
to have 4,000 new residents in Golden Valley over the next 20 to 30 years. We've got to find a place to put them.
Are any of them focused on senior living?
Some of them will be custom tailored. In fact, what we've been told by the developer over in and that's a great question, Laurel Avenue and Pennsylvania Avenue, is that they can be custom tailored. If a senior citizen wants to do a one level, it can be custom built that way. Whereas they have also come in, they've shown us that it's 2 level as well for that starter family. So in some cases, some of those townhomes may be even larger than mine. I mean, I have 2,000 finished square feet in my house. Some of them may be even larger than that. Some of them would be smaller than that. So ideally, for sure, we're thinking about seniors as well because they want places to go.
Right.
So those are probably the big ones. I would say there are other ones on the horizon.
Right, but those are the major ones that are kind of up and coming.
Right.
Now, are there any commercial or business redevelopment going on now?
There is. I'm sorry, Jack. We're gonna have to go back to the map here. Sorry, we're getting our exercise.
Map, pen.
Right. So I would say the primary areas where we're looking at where, in terms of commercial development, it's all been discussion. I'm even more excited about this because I think if it comes to fruition, it will really change the heart of Golden Valley, the central downtown area. So we have City Hall right here with our fire station and our police department, and right here you have so here's Winnetka Avenue and you have Highway 55. In this area, everyone knows that area as the Golden Valley Shopping Mall. And then right across the street, you have Golden Valley Commons.
Right.
You can tell from the two that Golden Valley Commons is a little more modern looking. Some say that the Golden Valley Shopping Mall has got a retro niche about it. Others say that it's long overdue in terms of being revitalized. The shops are good. The stores are good. They're for the most part, local mom and pop types of shops. But what we, as a city, we've helped facilitate an introduction between the Golden Valley Shopping Mall owner and I can't say the name officially because the conversations have been confidential, but with a local grocery food co-op that is looking to expand, which I remember when Patina moved into Golden Valley Commons, a lot of people were very excited about that. That will be an understatement compared to the excitement that people will have if this comes to fruition. And what could potentially happen is that the area where the shopping mall is that we'd be looking kind of on the west side over here where Golden Valley Drive is. We'd reopen that so people could access the grocery store from the west or coming from the east, and hopefully the entire facade of the shopping mall would get a makeover. Right. So that is probably the biggest area when it comes to.
That's up and coming.
It is up and coming. We're working on it.
Well, now I want to move to Jack, because Jack Knudson has been involved, and this is a whole brand new endeavor for the city of Golden Valley. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about the new teen committee, kind of how it got going, or what was the impetus?
Yeah. The new teen committee is mostly for teens 8th grade up to senior year of high school. It's going to be a group where we all talk and say, what can we do to help Golden Valley? What can we do to improve everything that is around us, and how can we input our opinions into what the city council thinks? And then what we do is basically go to the city council and talk to them and say, what are some things that you're doing, like this rec center that we're thinking about building, and how could teens be more involved in that? And I think that's a big part of our what we need to do and it's our obligation as teens to be involved.
And be active in your community.
Exactly, yes.
So who or how many people are on the committee?
I think we have about 12.
Okay.
Big group.
That's a good group to start out with. Now, when did it get started, or where are you in the whole process?
It's been a project with Shep Harris and Andrew Ervig, a senior who's now a freshman in college at the University of Minnesota. But he was in a program called HMC, and where he got to choose a mentor, and his project was to create a group with his mentor, and like that teen commission would talk about issues and advise the city council, and that's really what he wanted to do. And he studied all of the different teen committees in the area, and he figured out that it was something that he wanted to do, and he went through with it, but unfortunately, since he's not a kid anymore,
He's aged out.
Yeah. So he handed it down to me, and then so I've tried to instill his, principles into what I want to lead this group as, and I think getting involved with the mental health initiatives that Golden Valley has is a beautiful thing. I mean, the things that they were talking about, that's something I want to bring into our teen commission.
Now, how often does your commission meet?
It meets every month, the fourth Monday of every month.
Okay. And how many people are on it, and kind of where did they come from?
All of the kids went through an application process.
Okay.
Yep, and from there they were chosen, and I think we're going to do one every year after this group. So you have to reapply every year.
Sure. And then is there a set number that you want to have on there?
Anywhere from 10 to 15.
Okay.
I think that's
That
fine.
kind of works good so that everybody gets to be part of it.
Yeah, and we want a really fair representation of all the schools in the area.
Oh, yeah.
So Cooper High School, Armstrong, Breck, all of those really, really important ideas that each of the schools have.
You have
And
Hopkins. You have Hopkins
And
schools.
right,
Can't
right.
forget Hopkins.
No,
I know we're a little partial to Robbinsdale because we live in that district.
Yes.
Right. And then how many months have you been meeting as a group, or is this ongoing from his time, or?
This is, it's been in its infancy, sort of, so
Okay.
we've only done 2 meetings. Yeah.
But
So-
we're getting them involved very quickly, and a great example of why it is so important. I can't underscore enough how important it is to have teens involved. So we're talking about building this community center.
Right.
And what we're hearing is, should we have a teen center within the community center? Should we have a teen room?
Right.
Or should we not? And that's where I'm going to look to Jack and to the rest of the gang and say, because we were talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
I've heard pros and cons. I've heard some community centers, it's not worth having it because it's not cool enough for the teens to hang out. But then I go out to like a Maple Grove, and some of the staff says sometimes the teens go there as kind of like it's like kind of a babysitter to get away from the family. So that's where I'm going to rely on Jack.
Right.
On this important information.
Yeah.
And then having 12 people, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
That's a good beginning.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's still, I have teens that come up to me occasionally, and they say, well, I want to be on it. And I said, well, it's kind of filled up right now, but it doesn't mean you can't somehow get involved in another way.
Well, I want to thank
Thank you very
all
much.
3 of you so much for taking
Thanks,
time out
Juanita.
of your busy schedules and sharing lots of information about Golden Valley with us. And we'll ask those of you out there to tune in next week for part 2 of Golden Valley Issues. We're glad that you're with us. And remember, if you've got concerns about these issues in your community, call your mayors and city council people, or call Mayor Harris if you're in Golden Valley. And we'll see you next week. Bye.